We're here round 4 of Klutch Kickers, $100,000 drift series. We're out here with the podium, joined by some winners. These boys already jumped in the pond. All right, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves. Go ahead, brother. Let the internet know who you are.
My name's Andrew Grindle.
And then we got our number 1, top of the box. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Taylor Hull from Sonoy, Georgia.
And bottom of the box, placing 3rd here.
Hayden Kittrell from Pensacola, Florida.
Awesome to have you boys out in the water with me. Nice little first date for us, if you will. You guys had a long fought battle. Andrew, you had probably more battles, fighting all the way through. Actually, Hayden as well had to fight through a ton of battles going through. How was your time taking that first loss and then working your way through the defeated bracket?
So actually, so far this whole season, without the losers bracket, I would have been knocked out right away. So we knew that going in the losers bracket, we had an opportunity to make it to the end, and we were just ready and geared for it, and got a whole ton of practice in and comfortable with the layout. Made mistakes the first time and knew that facing the same person the second time, I needed to do it better.
Well, you had to do better against the man sitting next to me, Taylor Hull. You knew going into that battle, you already talked to your team. You gave a little shout in their ear. You said you don't know what's going to happen. He almost took you out. He almost had to take you out twice to get that win. You got anything to say to Andrew in his battles?
Great job. We talked about it afterwards, but I was absolutely sitting in the car talking to my spotter, talking to my crew, getting tires prepped for the next one because I was absolutely not sure how this one was going to go. Sometimes you're in the car and you feel pretty confident about what just happened. I had some of those earlier on in the day, but then there's other times when you finish up 2 runs and you're just like, man, I just don't know. And that was the case for this one. So some mistakes made by both of us on that one. I kind of just transitioned the last 2 times in his smoke with a prayer. I'm like, I'd rather come up a little bit short than a little bit long because there's a really big stump over there and some trees, and I really don't want to change the roof on my car.
That's fair. A weird car in itself. Speaking of weird cars, the 300 horsepower monster sitting next to you, our 3rd place finisher, 2 throttle bodies underneath the hood, man. Give the people a little insight. What kind of engine package you got going on underneath the 350Z?
It's a VQ35 HR. It's full NA. It's got intakes on it. Yeah, that's about it.
What a laundry list of modifications done.
Yes, the chassis has a lot done. FDF coilovers, FDF angle kit, PBM coilovers. Still got an inline handbrake, so I'm riding the Chelsea DeNofa train there. It's been a battle. We put the car together in probably 2 weeks and just sent it,
Well, it paid off for you. You got 3rd place on the bottom of the box. Congratulations to all 3 of you. Now, since we're out on the boat, you guys already been in the pond water. I want to hear each one's experience. So I'm going to start with Andrew because you kind of got forced into the pond here. How did the water feel?
Oh, it's freezing, and I got thrown in there pretty hard, so I went straight to the shallow end first and then ended up deeper because it's very mucky in the bottom. It's slippery. It's hard to get out.
Now, Taylor, did you stand up at all? Is it waist deep?
Yeah, well, it depends on what you consider that. I could stand up, but then I sank basically up to my knees into what I can only assume is duck.
We'll have to bleep that. Family show, sir. Watch your language. And Hayden probably got the worst of the stick. You lost something necessary, didn't you?
Yeah, I lost my glasses. I'm a little blind now, but I got $1,500, so I'll buy some more glasses.
That's staying positive. Congratulations on your 3rd place win. Do you guys have anything to say to anybody else? Taylor, got any thank yous or anything you want to shout to your team, your crew?
Yeah, absolutely. Comp Cams, Edelbrock, Kenda Tires, and the laundry list of the rest of the sponsors that help us. Radium just did a upgrade with us right before this round with our fill cap and some things like that. Of course, my wife and spotter, Tamara, crew chief, Ernie, crew chief James. There's a lot of work that's gone into this car in the off season, but I'll be honest, the first time I touched this car for this round was last night. So
it worked out for you.
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of prep that went into this one, but it's a testament to the car that we put together for this, and the competition's continuing to catch up to us. We're gonna have to get real ready for the next one.
Speaking of the guy on your heels, anybody you would like to thank?
I do have a list of sponsors, but actually right now I want to thank my 2 pit crew members who did a phenomenal job changing my tires, keeping the car cool. We had so many back-to-back battles. I just had to sit in the car and trust that they were doing everything right, and they were. So Vince and Dylan, they did an excellent job. And Whoops Motorsports, they lent a hand too. They were right next to us, the Florida boys. So yeah, just everyone who was here who helped us get back-to-back battles and keeping the car from overheating.
Nice. And Hayden, anybody, you want to shout some thanks out?
Zegnova Tire, Seam Shark Upholstery, my wonderful wife at home. She couldn't make it. She's watching the 3-year-old. I have an awesome pit crew, Adam Solier and Corey 240. I couldn't have done it without him. And, of course, Zach Poloff. He's always had my back. He towed my car out here. It's just been a fantastic thing. And thank you to Ken Martin.
Awesome. Thank you once again for you guys coming out, bringing your squad, bringing your team.
Most unique interview.
Hey, I mean, we're in the water, but we got a job, dude. We got to get home, and we're tied. We didn't do a great job tying this stuff together. So you guys want to help me get in? Like, can we just start making circles? Like, we go forward?
Yeah, you go forward.
Victory donuts, if you will, you know? Look at the ducks. All right, fellas, we're really not doing good here. Somebody's got to help us out.
Yeah, we'll go backwards.
All right.
Going forwards.
Should we just go for the shore? Go for the shore. Let's see if we can bail out with the shore. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us on round 4 Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. We'll see you next time. This is your top 3 finishers. Stay in the pond. Winners get in the water. I'm just saying. What's up, everybody? Welcome to round 5 $100,000 Drift Series. Thank you guys for tuning in, joining us here for this is qualifying. We're about to get at it. I'm joined by the beautiful Tara. Tara, go ahead and let the internet know what's up today.
Oh, dude, it is round 5, the big finale. The big checks come out today. I'm super stoked. How about you, man?
I'm looking forward to it. The weather is breaking. It's beautiful out. It is nice and chilled. The sun's going to break out. Our drivers are locked and loaded. We got almost a full field of 25. I believe we got 22 drivers ready, surviving through Friday practice. Big shout out to the drivers that showed up for Friday practice. They got that extra little bit of lick. Our season pass holders are locked in. We got a couple new faces down here, a couple big wigs, couple guys with some bigger machines, if you will, coming out trying to take out our championship winner, Taylor Hull. But we still got a points race for 1, 2. We are going into it right now. This is qualifying round 5 Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. If you guys haven't joined us all season long, you guys have missed out on a very, very progressive season.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been a pretty wild series. Of course, it has been the Taylor show, which, I mean, he came to play. He came to win. So who can blame him? But we've also seen a lot of different battles for 3rd and 4th place and points, and I think we're going to continue to see that pretty strongly through today. So honestly, it's really anybody's battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Who knows? And we've got, to your point, we've got some major disruptors that are going to be joining us here today for the first time that could really shake things up a little bit.
I really enjoy a good wild card. These guys have come out. They brought some real machines, some stuff that some of these guys have never even driven with. Some of these guys first laps out as well in those machines. Some utilized that Friday practice. Some did not. Some are coming out, big ego. Big machine, a lot of horsepower. We're going to see some tire smoke today. Our track is nice and dry and cleared up. You can see that man himself, that championship winner, in that what used to be a Corvette is now rebodied, reshelled, and the man, the myth, the legend, Taylor Hull, taking over all the checks throughout this season. But we still got one more round of big checks to hand out. As well, we have a nice little award banquet later today for our drivers and crew.
We do. I hope you brought your tux. You're ready to jazz it up a little bit.
Undressed to impress. But I'm looking forward to our qualifying. We got Race Data Labs, our Wally system, going to, in my opinion, make qualifying amazing.
Always does. It makes things so much easier. It's better for the drivers, better for the judges. It's a great asset for us to have here at Klutch Kickers. We're the only organization in the U.S. that's using Race Data Labs. It's fantastic. If you haven't gotten into it yet, do be sure to check out data at data.racedatalabs. We will be feeding you the results immediately, almost instantaneously, for today's qualifying results.
Not only will our qualifying scores be posted as soon as the Wally system is done calculating it, but you also can see that very same telemetry data that the Wally's using to get all that boy math together to see what our drifters are going to actually score in their qualifying laps. That is a super cool piece of technology. I hope all our drivers and even you guys at home are utilizing that. That is data.racedatalabs.com. Short amount of time. Make sure you hit that server. Record what you want. You want to talk to Smack in the chat, you better back it up with the receipts. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Well, girl math is me putting the link in the chat so that you don't have to do the math. There you go.
That's why they're just more organized than we are, fellas. Like we can't fight that. We need that symbiotic relationship. You know what I mean? It makes it all happen.
Well, once we get these drivers out onto the track, they're making their way out here. We'll get started here soon.
Yeah, we got our first heat of qualifying drivers. We're going to have that number one, our points championship winner, if you will. Taylor Hull getting chased down. Well, I'm sorry, not chased down, but then followed up by Grindle, then Cardosa, Smith, and then Brandon with that beautiful Mark III Super. Did he drive it here today?
Hey, of course he did. He street drove it. Nice. I think he literally only brought like 6 tires with him and was like, yeah, here, I'm just going to show up and
he knows
see
what he's
happens.
doing. That's calculated. That's calculated risk. I love that he street drives it in. There's a bunch of drivers out here with a plethora of machines in all sorts of spectrum, a horsepower, chassis, suspension design, everything. And I'm looking forward to watching them all try to get some points through our Race Data Labs Wally system here right now. We got our first heat of drivers out on the track. I believe we're waiting for one more driver out. We're finishing up repainting those lines out for our qualifying drivers so they'd have a nice visual. We have a ton of zones through our track layout here for round 5. We are running what is the normal direction of Mid-Pond.
It is the normal direction. I know we've been swipping it up a little bit here and there, going back and forth, doing reverse, doing regular layout. This is probably the closest we've done to what we call the spring break bash layout. It's a little bit more of a longer run up than what we usually do, but about the same shutdown point of what we typically have for our spring break bash comp.
Now, just to quickly run you through it, we got a couple touch and goes right in the front. Our driver's going to have to initiate, and they got to get the back bumper of the car into those zones, in and out as quickly as possible with as much fluidity as possible, and then all the way down to our first outside zone through that hairpin, and across the pond, another outside zone, and then you got to stretch all the way back out. Almost want our lead drivers to take a midline through that next outside to our final outside zone where they got to keep their composure, and the finish line is right behind them. You guys are seeing on the internet are that number one, our championship winner, point series. Let's see if you can take home another win today, maybe even get that Q1 position. Taylor Hull with that rebodied Corvette. That thing has been putting in work. It looked good during practice. You can't lie.
It did.
There is no shake. Taylor has won. He has definitely come out here and put down but these guys, that rest of that field, honestly, that group right there are heavy hitters. For
sure. I think we're starting out with a great group here. Andrew Smith came in for his first run. What was it, last round? Or no, excuse me, 2 rounds. It was round 3 was his first time doing comp with us outside of just doing, fun comps here and there. And he came up, he really came to play. I think he's got a little bit more, I was talking to him earlier, he's got a little bit more of a competitive strategy this time. He's really been paying attention to his lines. Something that he's never really had to pay attention to is, making sure he's hitting those touch and goes, making sure he's really filling those outer zones, which once again, he's got 5 outer zones that he's got to contend with, plus those 3 touch and goes. So a little bit more boy math for him to do today as he's thinking about going through this comp. Not what he's usually used to when we're doing more fun stuff. I got to give credit where credit's due. It's been a pleasure to watch the progression of not only this series here at Mid-Pond, but as well as each and every driver out there on the paddock. They really have been adapting and soaking up as much information from their peers and the staff here as much as possible to just continuously, very honestly, great momentum. And that's what we want to see in drifting. A lot of the momentum, a lot of inertia. We want to see our drivers confident, and I got to give them credit. Well, speaking of confidence, Grindle in this new chassis to him has done a phenomenal. He's grown exponentially in this car from round 1 to what we saw in practice just a few minutes ago. I mean, door to door with Rad Dan. Just absolutely beautiful runs. So I think we're going to see a lot out of Grindle too. Again, 2nd, 3rd, 4th place is getting to be a little spicy, so we'll see where he ends up landing. Speaking of Rad Dan, he's one of our wild cards. We've got Dustin Miles out here, Adam Heisman. We got a plethora of new drivers, honestly. Hooman's out here. The whole paddock is actually just swamped out with new drivers, new cars. I'm excited to see what round 5 goes, but we're going to have to get through our first qualifying group right now. Taylor Hull patiently waiting for his time with the Wally system. This is where the robots really pay attention. And honestly, they don't lie. There is no fluff with the Wally system. It gives you what it is. Absolutely. And, having that accessible to you immediately, I mean, almost instantaneously, straight from the motherland in Australia. These guys are serving it up to you almost instantly so that you can not only follow along at home with the stats, but you can do the visual review of the run themselves. So do make sure you check out that link. It is in chat. We'll have that pinned here for you in just a second. Actually, let me go ahead and pin it now while I'm sitting here talking about it.
Yeah, that data
There we go. It's pinned
racedatalabs.com. That live updates. Just refresh your page after every lap that you would like to see. Collect that data. Check it out. Check out the telemetry. It is honestly a great symbiotic motion through all of it. All right, so we got our qualifying group waiting for it. Race director, big throat out there.
Curtis is over here yelling.
Big throat.
What a big surprise there. We love you, Curtis.
All right, we're hyped to get qualifying started here. The Ducks are in the pond. Who else is going to end up in the pond? We're going to see our podium jump back in. Last round, round 4, all our drivers went in for a swim. Honestly, I thought it was amazing.
I mean, have their suits even dried out yet? It feels like we were just here.
I didn't get close enough to smell everybody, but they look dry. They look dry. Speaking of dry, our track is dry. We got a nice little washout in the morning. We got a clean slate here, and it looks like we're going to get our first qualifying driver up into the box, get his tires warmed up. That's Taylor Hull, that rebodied Corvette chassis. I believe that thing is light. It moves like it doesn't weigh anything. I believe it's an old FD chassis out of him as well, like repurposed.
That's my understanding as well. What we've lovingly dubbed the Monte Vetto, I believe, was old FD chassis for sure, old Corvette chassis.
Well, let's see what he's got with it. He's obviously been locked in all season long, taking win after win, as well as doing phenomenally during qualifying. You guys at home, remember, check out that data.racedatalabs.com. You can see that telemetry live as soon as he has done his lap. You got to get his tires out of the park box, getting warmed up. Looking solid through practice. Let's see if he can put down, well, to be honest, he's obviously going to get that number 1 position right off the bat. He's our first driver out. So, I guess congratulations, Taylor Hull.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a reminder, we do single run car for qualifying. So Taylor's going to do his solo run here. He'll come back around, do a second run. We'll go through this run group and back on to the next.
Look at Josh over there. Looking great.
Josh is doing a great job. You can hear him all the way from over here.
Big throat guy, too. All right, here we go. Taylor Hull with his first qualifying lap here. Clutch Kickers round 5, $100,000 drift series. Let's see him go back into that first touch and go. Looks like he gets the back bumper of that Corvette, Monte Carlo, all mixture of all of it. Through all 3 of those touch and goes. Looks like he's doing a great job getting into that first outside zone through the hairpin here. This is where he's got to keep his composure around the pond. He needs to get that back bumper into that box as he does. Hold the car there as long as possible. The Wally system is watching. Gets into our next outside zone. Pulls out just a tad early. That's uncharacteristic of Taylor Hull. See if he's going to hold on to that midline and get back into that outside zone. He's going to clean this back up. He's going to leave a little points on the board here, but it looks like he gets that rear axle. Almost getting a little deep, a little dust in the air. The Wally system is definitely going to show that in the receipts. We're going to have to go over and see what his first qualifying lap is going to take on.
So I know you mentioned he looked really good in practice, but there were a couple runs, and I don't know if, again, we had a little bit of rain yesterday, a little bit of rain this morning, so could be still a little residual water on the track, a little slick. But he did kind of go off track over here on this first outer zone earlier on during practice. So seeing him go a little bit wide here as he was going through outer zone 5 as well. Little alarming, but I think Taylor can pull it back together.
Well, so if you guys were curious how difficult it is to get that same information, I just went to the website as Tara was speaking, and we got our first qualifying score. Taylor Hull with a 71. A 71, currently sitting first, but he's the only driver out. Our next driver up already in the line with the lights illuminated, Andrew Grindle, taking his first qualifying lap here, round 5, $100,000 drift series. Let's see what he's got. Wally Systems watching you, brother. That first touch and go is getting knocked off the checklist. That second touch and go, getting that rear bumper where it needs to go. Down to that third touch and go, keeping that S14 with S15 bits all over it. In that outside zone, doing a good job. It's got to keep that rear bumper in that zone. Across the pond here, Andrew doing a good job. Getting down on that throttle, making sure we want our drivers to hold that momentum all the way through that transition. All of our judge zones here at round 5. Looks like Andrew's doing a fantastic job going through our judges' checklist as our judges are honestly just hanging out and watching as the Wally system's putting in the work, making sure he's paying attention. Ooh, a little bit of a correction there. We'll have to see what the data shows on that, but let's see what he gets for his first qualifying lap. Andrew Grindle, round 5, $100,000 drift series with a, harsh from the Wally. Harsh, I believe that's a 48. Let me get a refresh going on. Our next driver, Cardoza, currently sitting in number 2 in points, looking to hold and lock in that position after this round. Let's see what our qualifying for Andrew Grindle. His first qualifying run is going to be a 48 from Grindle. All right, Grindle, with that max angle, 131 degrees. That just seems aggressive. Very aggressive. Average angle from Taylor Hull, 44.8 degrees through his entire run. Average angle from Andrew Grindle of 47.1. There's a ton of factors that go into the Race Data Lab Wally system. And as I say that, let's get our next driver ripping, Cardoso. Let's see if he can get some points on the board. He's looking for that #1 spot here in qualifying our first run group. Cardoso's 360 looking solid throughout practice. He's already ripping through his first qualifying lap, getting through that first outside zone. Looks poised, getting planted nice and well, getting that rear bumper, that short bumper on these cars. You got to make sure you keep that where it needs to go for our Wally system. Paying attention, looks like it's a bit shy getting into that box, gets in a little late, pulls it back together, taking that midline back to that next outside zone. Needs a hold of composure, a lot of momentum going in, a little bit of dust in the air as he hits that last outside zone. And it looks like he's going to survive the lap. Let's see what the Wally system puts up for his first qualifying score.
Definitely loving this layout, using a little bit more of the track than what we have traditionally done for the last 5 rounds at this point. So it's nice to see using a little bit more of that run up going into that first turn. I think we're seeing a lot more speed from these drivers, which again is something that the Race Data Labs Wally system is looking for. So a 69 for Cabot, it looks like.
Nice. 69 for Cardoso. Our next driver on the line. Another car that's been, honestly, progressively getting better and better every time I see it hit this track. Drew Smith with that Fox body. Let's see what he takes for his qualifying lap. Looks like he gets initiated well before our last initiation point. Gets into that touch and go. Going through the checklist here. Getting the rear axle through that last touch and go. Getting set up for that first outside zone through the hairpin on the bottom side of the pond. Looks like he's doing a good job getting his car positioned. He's holding onto the track, a little bit of dirt in the air. We don't like to see that as much in qualifying, especially when you're out here by yourself, but it looks like he's going to keep it on the asphalt. Gets into that next outside zone, doing a good job. Smith holding his composure a little midline as he sets himself up for that next outside zone with a bunch of momentum, probably the highest momentum he got here on the track, and then dumps into that last outside zone. And it looks like Smith's going to survive the lap. We'll have to go over to our Wally system for his first qualifying score.
Showing as a 46 thus far for Fox Body Poppy.
Oh, unfortunately, I don't see Brandon out on track. And it looks like Drew Smith is going to get a 46 for his first qualifying lap. That still puts Taylor Hull sitting #1. And it looks like, unfortunately, Brandon not out on track with his qualifying group. Unaware of what's happening with him. I hope the best for him, but we're going to go to our second lap of Taylor Hull, already sitting in the lead by a few points right in front of our #2 spot in the championship, Cardoso. Let's see what he's got for his second qualifying lap. Taylor left a little meat on the bone. Let's see if he can shoot the rest of it off here in his second qualifying lap, round 5, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 drift series. Taylor holding it together to that outside zone, keeping that reshelled Corvette on the track, on the asphalt, screaming through across the pond, scaring the ducks back into the water, if you will. Taylor doing a decent job, getting it in, out. Now this is where he stands on, getting out to that next outside zone, the fast pull, and then a big dump into that last corner. And it looks like he's going to hold his composure on the asphalt. Tires still in the air. Taylor Hull, another run under the belt. Let's see what our Wally system gives him in his second qualifying run. Already sitting with a 71. He's looking to make some improvements here. Already sitting pretty. Speaking of sitting pretty, Gridl's car sitting right underneath the tent. Next to Josh, the pretty guy, you know. The car is fine.
Look
at Josh, man. Josh is just shining out there. And it looks like Taylor Hull is going to find a few more points on the board with a 75. A 75 for Taylor's second qualifying lap. Let's see what Grindle's got on his second qualifying lap, so he can find some extra points. He was sitting with a 48. Definitely left something out to be desired. Let's see if he can clean it up here. A big shove into that first touch and go. Gets out to that second touch and go. Now he's got to drive it all the way down to that third touch and go. Get the car poised for our first outside zone. Looks like Andrew's doing a good job. That machine rotates back into that next second outside zone, across the pond here. Got to keep that back bumper in that zone for the entirety of that zone. Grindle rotates out to outside zone number 3. Survives outside 3, stretches it back out, smacking that throttle down to get out to outside 4, and then dumps into our final outside 5. Love with the throttle pedal across the finish line. Grindle's going to get a second qualifying lap down and over with. Let's go back to that Wally system to see what our final numbers are. If you guys are unaware, data.racedatalabs.com, you can get the same updates at the same speed we are, almost instantaneous. And as I say that, Grindle tying it up with Hull for his first qualifying score with a 75. Right now, we currently have a tie for 75. We have enough data. We'll have a tiebreaker to dial that down later, and I will update you as soon as I'm updated. I'm not doing that math. I don't want to. Our next qualifying lap, or driver out, is Cardosa. Doing a fantastic job all season long. Starting the checklist off nice and strong. Getting through all those touch and goes down and dumping into that first hairpin. Outside zone number 1. Getting that short bump efficiency to hang and maintain that entire outside zone. Keeping that rear axle there. Leaves that zone maybe a tad scoped early. Gets out into that outside zone number 3. Cardosa doing a good job. This is where you've got to stretch it back out for outside 4. Standing on the throttle. They got the funny spray, you know, a lot of nitrous in this vehicle. Dumping back out for outside 5, and that is not the sauce. That's a little too much out of Cardosa. He has some points already. He's probably going to have to lean on that 69, and to be honest, if I was a spotter, I would have told him to keep the 69 too. It's just a good number, you know?
Nice.
Or as the kids say, it's about 2 off of what they want, you know?
Well, 71 for Cabot for that second run there. So, hey, looks like he's going to want to keep that second score.
Oh, wow. All right. Cleaned it up. Still some mistakes left.
Yeah.
But progression. He's going to get a little slightly better score, 71. I would have kept the 69. But that's just me. We still got our number 1 tie with Grindle taking out, or Taylor Hull, both with a 75, sitting up number 1. And then our last driver of this qualifying group, Drew Smith, with that beautiful Fox body Mustang. To be honest,
it is a gorgeous Fox body. He takes really good care of it. I did tell on him the other day. I did say that he's got a junkyard engine. He was like, "Why'd you tell everybody that?" It's like, man, that's impressive. Own it.
Yeah, you got to own that. You got to be proud of that. He's out there.
Own
He's
that
working
junkyard
it.
coyote, bud.
You could never. If you have to tell me that kind of information, because Drew's out here. He's wheeling. He's always putting pressure on. Almost going out and trying to win practice. He survived practice. Now we're in qualifying. This is round 5, $100,000 Drift Series. If you guys are just joining us on the internet, thank you guys for joining us here. Thank you for joining us here at Mid Pond Raceway and Events Complex. And this is our second lap out of Drew Smith in qualifying for round 5. As I say that, Smith lights off the line, right past Josh as he goes into that first touch and go, initiates well before the last initiation point, gets out through the checklist, gets down to that last touch and go. Smith's got to stretch back out to that outside zone. A bit shy from the beginning of that box. It looks like he's started to clean it back up, getting the back bumper of that Mustang into outside zone number 1. Rotates back up to outside 2. Got to keep it out of the dirt. Looks like he's getting a little saucy on the exit there. Our drone right there in the action as he flips into outside zone number 3. Looking to make his improvement off his 46 from round 1. Definitely trying to strive to get as many points as possible here. Trying to sit himself higher into the ranks with a tie already in first. Let's see if Smith can clean it back off for our last couple of bit. A little bit of dust, a lot of dust, really stretching out that last outside zone out of the Fox body. We'll have to see how our Wally system scored it out. Already sitting with a 46. He does have points. We'll see him in the show. See if he can make an improvement here.
Did score him with a 66.
Nice.
And I will say, one of the things he was concerned about was speed, especially going up against drivers like Taylor Holt. And guess what? He is almost neck and neck with Taylor in terms of speed for our first run group.
Yeah, our first run group is pretty locked into her speed. The zone completion also highly up there. Smith obviously has a little bit of a cleanup area, getting a little saucy there towards the end, but he's looking solid, and tandem is a completely different game out here at round 5 Klutch Kickers. We're going to get our next qualifying group paraded out to our track. We have Johnstone, Parson, Wyndham, and Patton.
I'm sorry, did you say Parson and a 370Z? What happened? Just kidding, yeah. So, unfortunately, Parson is not going to be in his S13 chassis today. Did a little compression test, and she said no. So, he is borrowing a 370 to compete today.
I believe he put a clutch in that thing last night.
He did. It was late last night. Shout out to Z1 Motorsports. They were able to hook him up with a clutch pretty much instantaneously. So he was able to throw that in last night. That clutch was toast, by the way, that he pulled out. It was
you could
gnarly.
smell it yesterday.
It was gnarly.
He was rolling around. I was getting food off the taco truck. He rolled by, and I was like, I hope that's not my taco. That smells bad.
Oh.
He got it done. He's out here. He's ripping. Honestly, he looks, I'm going to say it, he looks a little better in the Z. He looks a little better in the Z. He looks comfortable. He was ripping. I mean, you don't burn a clutch out by not ripping. He was asking for it. I believe he's got some nitrous on here, asking out of this car. He looks comfortable. We'll see what he's down to do in his first qualifying lap. But first, another Mustang out here, Johnstone, Trevor. Also, I believe street drives this vehicle over here.
Oh, yeah. So, obviously, he does trailer it here because he's from North Georgia. But from what I understand, he does like to street drive his car in Georgia.
Hey, he's at least taking it out a lot and taking it for a cruise. And I enjoy to see the cars up and out and leaving, obviously, with legality in places. All right, Trevor Johnstone taking his first qualifying lap here, round 5 of Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. Sitting with a tie in first place with Taylor Hull and Grindle. Our first run group already completed. Grindle with a 75, Taylor Hull with a 75, Cardoso with a 71, and Drew Smith with a 66. Now it's Johnstone's turn, taking his first qualifying lap here through our layout of round 5. Look how confident Josh is out there just standing.
So stoic.
He got good
He
knees.
needs his cowboy hat, though. I'm not used to seeing Josh without his cowboy hat. Who let the man out there without it?
Less brim, you know?
It is a little windy today.
It feels beautiful out here. Alabama has always treated me well. And I love to see the sun out because I would love to see our podium back in the pond after we see who takes home the big checks today. Last round, we got our winners to jump in. Unfortunately, even a few sacrifices, you know, lost some glasses.
Yeah, lost Hayden Cottrell. His glasses are somewhere in the bottom of the pond. So if you ever find yourself wanting to do a little fishing, maybe you can find his glasses. Who knows?
Yep. I mean, he'd probably appreciate it. But he took home a big check. And, you know,
Yeah,
he
he
said the
did.
first thing we're going to buy is, unfortunately, a pair of glasses.
glasses.
But big shout out to our round 4 winners. They did a fantastic job navigating our layout. But now, Trevor Johnstone taking the responsibility. Got to put down some points. Go through our judges' checklist as our lights illuminate. We're about to get our first qualifying lap for Trevor right underway here at round 5, $100,000 Drift Series. Trevor flicks in, gets out to that first touch and go, getting that S550 Mustang. Out to that second touch and go and down and dumped into that third touch and go where he needs to rotate into our first outside zone. The hairpin right before the pond. You can see our judge's towers right to the right as he rotates into outside 2. Johnstone's doing a good job. You got to keep that rear bumper in the box so while he's paying attention, it's watching your brother. Dumps into outside 3. Stands on that throttle, needs to stretch it out to outside 4. A bit shy off that box there as he rotates and dumped into outside 5, that last outside zone before our finish line. And it looks like Trevor's going to do a good job through that last zone and cross and finish it off. Put a period on the sentence. Let's get a refresh on that data.racedatalabs.com. If you guys are just joining us, you too can see the live updates and the telemetry data. Make sure you do some clicks, wander around, show some love to Race Data Labs. A big shout for them, especially with the time change, you know, helping us out. As well as Will, you know, really hunkering down, getting the Wally system set up for us this round. But Trevor with a 66, he's going to tie it up with Drew. Getting a 66 for his first qualifying run, but he has one more lap. See if he can squeeze out a few more points here out of round 5's layout. Our next driver, Parson, new clutch, new man, new car. Let's see what he's working with. First qualifying lap. Push out a good bit out of the tent, down and initiates. See if you got that rear bumper into that first touch and go. Gets out to that second touch and go. Needs to stretch out and dump into that third touch and go and rotate that 370Z out into our first outside zone. Needs to keep that rear axle into that box the entirety of that zone. Doing a fantastic job as he rotates back up to outside 2. Parson looking comfy in this new car. Rotates down into outside 3. Planted. Stabbing on the throttle now. That midline we want to see our drivers out as he stretches out to outside 4. I say midline, he starts putting the rear axle on. You can see how that affected his outside 4, but he cleans it back up to get outside 5. As I say that, a little bit of dust in the air, but he survives and across the finish line. Parson getting some points on the board. We'll see him in battles later today. Let's go over to the Wally system to see what his calculated score is for his first qualifying lap. And it looks like he's going to get a 61, putting him in 6th place behind our tiebreakers. Don't worry if you're worrying about our tiebreakers. We'll update you. We'll get the math done. It's just, that's the judge's job, you know,
Yeah,
Darren? We don't have to do that.
Well, as a reminder, we do actually have a panel of judges, a beautiful panel of judges, I might add. Of course, we always have Will Parson here with us and Zach Poloff, but surprise guest judge, Ben Hobson.
Yep.
He was actually out there doing work. He was painting stripes on the track.
On a one wheel. You
It's
know?
impressive. That's
Efficiency.
impressive.
Efficiency.
What
Yeah,
are they doing for training in FD? Seriously.
Ben's a man of speed, you know? If you can put him on an engine, he wants, let me run.
It's called optimization.
That's why we're going to come back and take a few laps later in that beautiful RTR sitting in the parking lot. Don't tell him I say that. All right, here we go. JP Wyndham taking his first qualifying laps here. Round 5, $100,000 Drift Series. Let's see if he can get some points on the board, get into our battle bracket, our double elimination bracket for round 5. He's going to get out to that second touch and go. Stabs that E46 down to the outside 3, or I'm sorry, touch and go 3. Down to the outside zone number 1. JP looking pretty solid throughout practice. He's out there with Radical Daniel rubbing door handles. Let's see how he can hold his composure through outside zone number 2 across the pond here. No ducks in the frame. Unfortunate. Rotates back down to outside 3. JP doing a fantastic job keeping that rear bumper all the way to the outside of the track. Here's where you got to take that midline, stretch down with a bunch of inertia into outside 4, and rotates back into that last outside 5. No dust in the air, and it looks like JP is going to survive the lap. He's going to get some points on the board. Over to that Race Data Labs.
Ooh, those Valinos smoking. I do owe JP an apology. I thought he was still running Zeknovas last round. He was not. He is actually on Valinos now. So
well, he looks comfy.
Totally missed the giant sticker on the rear.
He looks comfy on those Valinis as the 73 from JP Windham, pulling it out with the Valinos on the back. JP's doing what he needs to do to get into the show. Sitting up pretty high. Number 3 right now in qualifying. We still have 3 other run groups past this group 2, but our next driver, Allie Wyndham, coming out here with the S13. She gave her a little flack for avoiding our outside zone. Let's see how she does with our first qualifying run here. She's nailing it through our touch and goes here. Needs to get that S13 down to that touch and go box. Gets down nice and wide into first outside zone. A bit shy off the box. You need to see that rear bumper into those zones. Allie's doing a fantastic job through outside zone number 2. She rotates down into outside 3.
Beautiful.
Doing a good job. Stabbing on the throttle, needs to get out to outside 4. Holding that line. Rotates back out to outside 5. A bit shy off the start, but gets it into the box and across the finish line. Allie's going to get some points on the board. We're going to see her in our double elimination bracket later today. Stoked to see some points out of her. I gave her a little flack for avoiding some zone, and she was like, I'm nailing it now. And in practice, she has been figuring it out for sure, and it looks like she's going to get the points to show it. A 55 out of Allie gets her onto the board. She'll be in our qualified double elimination bracket here for round 5 in a chance for the big checks.
She did give me full permission to smack you if you said anything else like that again.
Oh, that's fine.
That's fair. It's fair terms now.
Well, I'll arm wrestle. I'm not scared.
Well, back in the saddle again of his 350Z, almost Z32. Geez, sorry. Woof. Oof.
That's a crazy looking 300ZX.
That's a weird looking Z32. Dustin Patton.
Dustin Patton with that beautiful 300ZX. He's on the Z. Got a new engine in there. He's got to go through our checklist, getting out to those touch and goes. Looks like his bright rear bumpers maybe avoiding those touch and goes just as shy. As I say that, also avoiding our first outside zone. Car seems like it's a little struggling on the power alley there as he gets through that first outside and the second, dumps into outside 3. Starting to get those wheels spinning out, the choppas, if you will. Got them chrome tri-spokes out. I don't know if he has the nitrous on or not, but he looks like he's going to survive the lap. A little avoidant of our zones. Our Wally system is going to show the receipts on that, but nonetheless, Dustin gets some points. That puts him in the show. He survives the lap. And sometimes just survival is all we need.
Well, that engine is definitely surviving at this point. So he did take this engine, did a quick timing refresh on it. Same VQ. So we're hoping this engine holds together throughout
It's the same engine, just new timing chains?
Basically, yeah.
What a Nissan move.
Right?
What a
That's
Nissan
what I said.
move.
So if you watched us during round 4, we had Dustin in an S chassis, Sharon Frank's car. Now he's back into his chassis. We got his teammate, Kashad Parson, normally in an S chassis, now in a Z. This
They're
just
moving on
car
up.
shuffle, man. They're trying to figure it out.
Speaking of the man in the Z, Dustin Patton, with that fresh timing chain pulling out a 48 out of the Wally system for his first qualifying lap. And as I say that, we got Trevor back up on the line to take his second qualifying lap of Group 2 here at round 5, $100,000 Drift Series. Johnstone rotates into that first touch and go, getting out to the second touch and go, needs to drive it down to that third touch and go. Settles himself into outside zone number 1, getting that rear bumper of that S550 Mustang, holding his composure through the entirety. Our drone's getting fancy with it as he rotates into outside 2. Pulls out a tad early out of outside 2 as he sets himself up for outside 3. Keeping that bumper in the box as the Wally system wants to see. Johnstone getting out to outside 4. And a rotate and a dump into outside 5. Keeping it on the asphalt as Johnstone finishes off his second qualifying lap. Johnstone already sitting with a 66, looking to make an improvement here with his second qualifying lap here at round 5. If you guys are wondering where I'm getting all these numbers from, it is from data.racedatalabs.com. You can get on there and check out the very same information that we're seeing, plus the telemetry data. Check it out. Big shout out to Race Data Labs and the Wally system. Trevor Johnstone with a 64 on his second lap. He's going to hold on to that 66 from Q1. Barson, clutch slayer over there. Ready to take his second qualifying lap. Already sitting with some points on the board. 61 out of his first qualifying lap. Let's see if he can pull out a little more meat off the bone.
Second time he's had to change a clutch while at Klutch Kickers. I think it's just...
He's not skipping leg day, you know?
No, he is not.
Not skipping leg day. All right, looks like Parsons going to get the okay. The lights are going to illuminate. This is his second qualifying lap here at Klutch Kickers. $100,000 Drift Series, around 5. This is your second qualifying run group as Parson rotates into that first touch and go, gets out. Touch and go number 2, off the checklist. Gets down to out that third and last touch and go, getting into outside zone number 1. Getting that rear bumper of that D, like our Wally system wants to see through the entirety of that box. Rotates out, maybe a bit shy, but gets in nice and deep now as he gets to the rest of the pond. Rotates back into outside 3. Definitely putting that clutch through some work here. You hear that thing singing off. The jazz man's playing his trumpet as he gets out to outside 4. And rotates back down to outside 5. Pulls out maybe a shy early. Holds his composure across the finish line. He's going to get some points. Already sitting with a 61. Let's see if he can get some more out of our Race Data Labs Wally system here. And honestly, streamlining qualifying. I love the Wally system for qualifying purposes. It is night and day. The ability that you can see the telemetry data, and it looks like he's going to get a few more points with a 66.
66. Not bad at all, Kashad.
Like, that's crazy.
Lost a little speed, but gained some points. I'll take it.
I didn't even finish my sentence, and we had a qualifying scooter. All right, our next driver up on the line, JP. Also a man of carnage from round 4. It looks like he's holding his chassis together here at round 5. As I say that, going through our checklist here, through our outside touch and goes, down to our first outside zone. Getting that E46 planted out. Set up for outside 2 around the pond. No ducks. No ducks in frame, you know. Pulls out a bit shy at outside 2 as he rotates down to outside 3. JP, a little bit of throttle modulation to keep it on the asphalt as he stands back on the throttle to get a set up and leave outside 3 to get to stretch out to outside 4. Needs to keep that inertia and momentum and shove into outside 5. Keep it out of the dirt. JP already with a 73, sitting number 3 in our qualifying. Looking to get a few more points to try to take away that number 1 spot from our currently tied number 1 qualifiers, Grindle and Hull. Oh.
And that'll be a 71 for JP Wyndham. Nice little flame there to send him off.
Yeah, you can cook a marshmallow on that thing. All right, looks like he's going to get a few more points with a, no, I lied to you. He got a few less points. A 71 for JP's second qualifying lap. JP's going to hang on to that 73, still sitting qualifying 3rd out of all our run groups. As I say that, potentially his better half, Allie.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt.
Oh, you heard it here first. Allie going through our checklist here, getting all the way through his first 3 touch and goes, getting dumped down into outside zone number 1. A big crank. Saves it, hangs on to the horse as she rides it into outside 2. Getting that rear bumper back in the box here. Pulls out a bit early, gets set up for outside 3. Recomposing herself to get rest of the second qualifying lap here. Allie already sitting with a 55 in qualifying. Just looking to make some improvement here. Sitting comfortable into our double elimination bracket. She's just looking for more points. She's going to survive the lap, keeping it out of the dirt. Allie doing a good job wheeling that thing, keeping it on. A little flavor on the end there, too, you know? Really make me eat my words. We're going to have to arm wrestle Allie, you know?
She'll take you up on it.
I'm down. I'm going to lose, fellas.
I wasn't going to call you out on that. You said it first.
I got a bad shoulder, you know? I got to start making the excuses now. I got to start making the excuses now. All right, Allie, with her second lap, she's going to get a 55 out of Allie for her second lap. Puts her in qualifying position number 8. Right before our next man taking up his second qualifying run. New timing chain. Pulling him away from those touch and go boxes, though. Sounds like he's really working that car, that 350Z, to get out to our outside zones. I definitely heard this car in a healthier state. Dustin's definitely wheeling, trying to get this thing through our round 5 layout. Rotates the choppers, Those tri-spoke wheels spinning off through outside 3 into outside 4. A bit shy out of outside 4, rotates down to outside 5. He's going to take a tighter line here. Keep her surviving for a double elimination bracket. Might be one to watch, a wild card. A vehicle like that with a lot of these other machines could be a knife in the coffin, or I'm sorry, a nail in the coffin for some of these other drivers if they're not set up. This is a very important job of our spotters to relay that sort of information.
Yeah, so a 47 for Dustin Patton. And just listening, didn't sound like he's on nitrous. I didn't hear any kind of telltale sign, so I'm not sure if he's still going to be spraying today.
I mean, he got the timing chain in, all right?
Yeah.
We'll take a win, the small wins as we are. Small wins.
So I do want to have a quick update here. We were talking about Brandon Bass in qualifying group number 1. However, he ended up having an issue with that beautiful Mark III Supra. And lo and behold, Frank DeLeon, once again, has come through Klutch, borrowing out his car. So that is not Frank DeLeon chasing Dustin Miles. That is actually Brandon Bass.
Brandon.
Driving Frank DeLeon's
Getting an olive
orange
branch from Frank
S14.
once again. Always a gentleman and a scholar out here. Always supplying water to the staff, keeping us hydrated, both day and night. Big shout to Frank.
Yeah, I think the water gets a little bit hoppier towards the end of the night, but we definitely love Frank.
You guys have great sweet tea down here. All right. So our next qualifying group up on the line. It looks like Jake Clark with that yellow S13 sitting first. Looks like we're going to wait for, I do not see Hannah out in our qualifying group.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, if she's going to be able to come back out, if there was maybe some kind of swap around so that Brandon Bass could come out with our run group 3. However, during practice, Hannah's drive shaft actually ended up failing. So her dad was working on that, trying to get it put back together. Don't know if he's going to be able to fix it. Wasn't able to determine if it was actually fixable. So
I do see her vehicle up in the air, unfortunately on the jack stands of shame, sitting in the pits. Hopefully we can see Emerson out. She's been doing a fantastic job skipping school functions to come join us at round 4.
Yeah, missed her senior prom last round. This round, this child, she sent me her senior portraits. She was like, hey, does this make you feel old yet? I've known this girl since she had just started walking, and she's sending me her senior portraits.
So you're arm wrestling too.
Oh, I'm arm wrestling her now.
And you hear that as a warning. All right, we got Jake Clark taking that number 1 position in Group 3 of our qualifying here at round 5, $100,000 Drift Series. Frank's S14 putting in the work here, giving Brandon a chance to get into that double elimination. That's Bass. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got the inside scoop, bro. We got the inside scoop. Look at all this technology here.
We had Frank come over and sit down next to us, and everybody said, why is Frank? What's going on right now?
Yeah, Frank's bringing waters.
I do want to confirm that Hannah Amerson is out. They were unable to get the drive shaft fixed. So
it's an unfortunate turn of events.
Hannah is out.
But love to see her progression throughout the season. Love to see her out here, her entire family working hard to keep that vehicle out. She was looking solid throughout practice. Stoked to see what she's capable of this next coming season.
Agreed. I think we're going to see a lot out of Hannah next season. She has certainly grown a lot throughout this series.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Progression in drifting is the, that's the big dopamine drip.
Well, another kid in drifting here, which I keep calling them kids now because they're all so much younger, but 17-year-old Jake Clark, this yellow S13.
Ripping wins up and down the East Coast. Let's see what he's capable of.
This kid is someone to watch. He is phenomenal.
All right, Jake, with that yellow S13, barking the tires off, getting them warmed up for his first qualifying lap here at round 5, $100,000 Drift Series here at Mid-Pond Raceway and Events Complex. Thank you guys for joining us on the Klutch Kickers stream. Thank you for listening to me ramble, as well as listening to the beautiful Tara right beside me.
I'm just here for posterity.
We're both here for the vibes, We're both here for the vibes. If you guys are wondering how we're getting our qualifying data, it's thanks to Race Data Labs, that Wally system. If you would like to see the live data updated, as well as the telemetry from all the laps and even practice, check out data.racedatalabs.com. You can see, just refresh your page, as after our lap, and you can see Jake's score immediately calculated here for our round 5 qualifying. This is going to be his first qualifying lap. We have a tie for our first place qualifying with Grindle and Hull, and JP Wyndham sitting 3. Both these drivers in number 1 sitting with a 75. Wyndham shortly behind him with a 73. The Wally system does not lie. The receipts are on the internet. Never a good thing, you know. Let's see what Jake's going to pull out here. He's got to get through those 3 touch and goes, dump into our first outside zone. But as I say that, the lights illuminate. Let's see what he's got in his first qualifying lap here at round 5. Jake Clark, that yellow S13, shoves a bit avoiding of that first touch and go, gets it fixed up for that second touch and go, nice and deep, down into that's third touch and go, sorry. Then shoved into outside zone number 1. Getting that S13 poised and set back up for outside 2. Rotates across the pond. Starts smacking on the throttle in, keeping it out of the dirt. Sets himself back up for outside 3. Standing back on the skinny pedal, stretching it back out to outside 4. Clark doing a good job going through our judges' checklist here. The Wally system's watching him, calculating his score as we go live and in person here at round 5 Klutch Kickers. As he gets his first qualifying lap out of the way, he'll get into our double elimination bracket with enough points on the board. Let's go over to the Wally system to see what his actual numbers are.
There we go. Looks like a 67 for Jake Clark for his
67.
first qualifying run.
All right, Jake. Really showing his age there with his qualifying score. It's what the kids love.
Oh, God. I can't believe I just did that. All right, Danny Morse out here.
All right, getting out to his touch and goes, getting through what our judges wanted to see in the first half of our lap. It gets set back up for outside zone number 1. Morse's S13. Love to see a single color chassis. Getting shoved out to that second outside zone. A little bit of a correction there and a big shove. Getting into outside 3. Daniel doing a good job. Standing back on the throttle, get it stretched back out to outside 4. And rotates back down and gets settled for outside 5. Keeping that back bumper in the box here at Klutch Kickers. It is not rear axle, it is the bumper. All the cars are set up and calibrated with the Race Data Labs for bumper and car length. Bumper there or not. Let's see what Danny got for his first qualifying lap. Morse.
Looks like a 61 for Danny.
Nice. Nice. A 61 out of Danny. He'll put him into our double elimination bracket.
Miles of Style, Dustin Miles, getting ready to head out for his first qualifying run.
Dustin already getting around underneath his belt, skipping round 4, but coming back out for round 5. Love to see him back out here. That Jay-Z singing off as he sets himself into our touch and go plethora lane of power down here as he's screaming that Jay-Z down into that first outside zone. Keeping that S13 at right where it needs to be. Deep on the exit as he gets set up and rotated back to outside zone number 2. Standing on the limit of that Jay-Z, singing across the pond. The Ducks are really paying attention to him as he rotates into outside 3. Dustin doing a good job. Getting those qualifying points that the Wally system wants to see as he stretches back out to the outside 4, getting that rear bumper out. He's get settled off and keep it out of the dirt for that last outside zone. It looks like he's going to keep it on the pavement here as he gets across the finish line. Dustin Miles with a solid qualifying lap here at round 5, $100,000 drift series here at Mid-Pond Raceway and Events Complex. Thank you guys for joining us on the Klutch Kickers live stream. Big shout out to our live stream team for helping make this publication come to life, as well as Tara, keeping me sane, supplying water and snacks. Yeah, dude.
Oh, actually, I didn't give you your water yet. Sorry. There
See?
you go.
What would I do
My bad,
without you? What would I do without you?
Yeah, big shout out to Ben from Drift Sessions. He has been phenomenal.
We've had fun, you know?
We really have. And we've got Corey Gamble flying with us for today. Man, we've got a really good team here.
We do. And with that being said, Dustin and his team should be happy with a 73. A 73. That's going to put him in a tie with a JP Wyndham. Guys are tying left and right. We got a tie for Grindle and Hull, technically in that first place. According to our rankings, we have Grindle in first and Taylor Hall. I'll confirm those numbers. Goes off the other parameters of our calculated telemetry. And as well as Dustin Miles landing into that number 3 position with a 73. Also right behind him, or I should say next to him, JP Wyndham with a 73 as well. And Cardoso shortly behind him with a 71.
Not sure what's going on with Brandon Bass. As a reminder, he is driving Frank DeLeon's car, was doing a little shakedown, warming up the tires, and shut down. So we've got the Crown Vic on its way out.
What a unit the Crown Vic is out here at Mid-Pond. The workhorse here. Putting in some time, some laps, some energy. Toe strap in the trunk. Lifted on 31s. There it goes. You guys can see it on the internet now. Look at that thing. Majestic vehicle. Ken and team taking care of that K1 build originally, getting donated down to the track. Continuing its life here at Mid-Pond, keeping the show running. Unfortunately for Frank sitting at the table. Oh, Frank left.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Frank,
He made
Frank's
me a
gone.
liar.
But Allie's here, so if you want to get that arm wrestle in while we're waiting.
Oh, she doesn't even want to make eye contact. She knows what's
No,
up.
no.
She knows what's up. She knows, put the fear in it. Elbows, let me stretch real quick. Hold on. Let me stretch. All right, we're going to get Frank's chassis. Brandon, unfortunately, looks like he's going to get a DNF out of his qualifying laps. The camaraderie here, I got to applaud. Unfortunately for Brandon, that's just not going to work out for him. We're going to get him strapped up, yanked out of here, and we'll get our second laps out of our third run group here at round 5 Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. If you guys are just joining us on the Klutch Kickers live stream, thank you guys for joining us on the internet to listen to us, the app, as we give you the live updates from that Wally system from Race Data Labs of our qualifying here at round 5, the last round of the big checks. Our points championship already been locked in by Taylor Hull, but we have a plethora of drivers hunting down for those last final spots right underneath of them in our points championship. If you guys are curious where our qualifying results are being posted, that's data.racedatalabs.com. Get in there. You can get live data updates with a refresh of your screen, as well as the telemetry from all the laps from practice and qualifying. Check it out. Big shout to their team. Time difference and everything all the way down in Australia, really helping us out. Will Parsons setting up all the technology out here this morning, getting our cars set up for qualifying, in my opinion. A superior qualifying.
That poor bumper.
Oh, it's hanging on, aren't we all? By a thread.
Shout out KBD.
Yeah, make super stuff, man.
We appreciate you, Irving, keeping keeping Frank's car together.
Yeah, y'all will know the minute KVD makes a super bumper, y'all will know. All right, so our qualifying order as it sits. Grindle and Hull sitting in that number 1 spot. Hulls and Wyndham right behind them. Cardosa in 5th. Clark sitting in 6th with a 67. 6-7. Parson right behind him with 66. Also with Johnstone and Smith as well as a 66. Danny with a 61. Allie with a 56. And Patton closing it down with a 48. All 12 of our drivers are qualified. They'll be sit and placed into our double elimination bracket where the podium and the pond awaits them. If you guys haven't checked out round 4, check out that live stream. Go run it back. You can watch our podium drivers jump into the pond here at Mid-Pond as celebratory. Taylor Hull taking that championship win, locking it in last round. Jumping, getting wet.
Taylor said the reason why he went in last round and not for the finale was because he was concerned it was going to be too cold today. He didn't want to get in that pond.
Joke's on him. It's 60-something degrees, fellas. We're getting in the water.
It's probably closer to 70 at this point. It's pretty nice out today. So by the time we get done,
we're swimming with the ducks.
Taylor, we might be able to convince Taylor to go back in the drink. We'll see.
I'll pick him up and throw him in there. He's not that big.
Oh, you on your own there.
I'll get Allie to help. All right, here we go, Jake. With our second qualifying lap here at round 5, $100,000 Drift Series. Let's see if Jake can spill out a few more points. Already sitting with a 6-7. Waiting for our illumination of the lights will allow Jake to go through underneath the watchful eye of that Wally system. Look at Josh over there. Doing a great job. Big shout out to the entire Klutch Kickers team. Putting it down. The progression has been fun to watch. I joined you guys late at round 4.
Yeah.
Love to be here. Stoked to be out here at round 5.
We've loved having you, and I am making it my personal mission to get you a duck. You
I
have
want
got
a
to
duck.
hold a duck before you leave this
I
weekend.
tried. You know, I had snacks and everything. I was
Yeah.
close.
It's got to be consensual, though.
Oh, 100%. I need consent. Also, it'd be a really funny clip to see me try to chase down a duck.
I kind of maybe already have one. I'm not going to lie.
Man, don't put it on the internet. All right, Jake Clark waiting patiently for his second qualifying lap here at round 5. Klutch Kickers. It looks like our lights are going to be illuminated. Jake's going to take his second swing, trying to make some improvements here, putting himself into a better position to our double elimination bracket here later today. As he shoves in, gets out to that first touch and go, knocks out the second, rotates down past that third touch and go, and settles himself into outside zone number 1. Jake into that F13, stomp it through outside zone number 1, gets it completed with that rear bumper through the box into outside 2. A little bit of dust in the air as he smacks down on the skinny pedal to fix that mistake as he rotates it back into outside 3. Jake keeping the S13 on the asphalt through outside 3. Putting the power down, stretching it all the way out to outside 4, getting that rear bumper where it needs to be as he rotates back into outside 5. And it looks like Jake's going to survive the second qualifying lap. We'll have to go over to that Race Data Labs live data entry to see what his second qualifying lap is. Already sitting with a 67, and he's going to make a jump at it with a 74. Jake Clark cleaning it up with a 74, putting him into potentially third place here in qualifying. And it looks like Grindle with an adjusted score and have an 81, putting him firmly into that number 1 position. Taylor Hull sitting here right behind him with a 75, and Jake Clark on his heels with a 74. Right behind him, Dustin Miles with a 73, and Wyndham also sitting right behind him with a 73. Your top 5 qualifiers here at round 5 so far. We still got a few more run groups, a couple more wild cards left on the roster. Looking forward to watching the rest of these dudes rip it through. As I say that, Mr. Morse out here, Dan, getting it thrown into outside. Touch and go 1, 2, stomps down to 3, rotates and lands in the outside zone number 1. Keeping it on the asphalt here at mid-pound. Raceway and Events Complex as he rotates in outside 2. A bit shy off the beginning of outside 2, but gets that rear bumper out, pulls out a tad early as he gets down and shoves into outside 3. Daniel doing a good job keeping that S13 out of the sand pit over there in the back as he stretches out to outside 4. Getting the rear bumper in the box as the Wally system wants to see as he rotates down into outside 5. And rocks it out over the finish line. Looks like Daniel's going to get what he needs. Let's see if he can make some improvements on his first qualifying score of a 61. With a quick refresh of the page, data.racedatalabs.com. See if we can get his second qualifying score. Some improvements here. Looking for him.
Well, while we're waiting on that, we've got our current top 5 qualifiers. Andrew Grindle, Taylor Hull, JP Wyndham, Dustin Miles, and Cabot Cardoso.
And we're shooting from the hip here as Dustin Miles is going to go for his qualifying lap. I'll give you guys give the qualifying score of Daniel Morse in just a moment as we see Dustin Miles' second qualifying lap here, going through the checklist of touch and goes as he dumps himself into outside zone number 1, getting that hatch out and about, rotates out to outside zone number 2, getting that Jay-Z to sing as that rear bumper's chooching off the back, and a little too much sauce as he puts some dust in the air, a little bump and grind as he gets himself resituated into outside 3. Dustin Miles keeping his composure through that wild ride as he's got to stretch it back out to outside 4 and rotates and lands into outside 5. He's got to keep it out of the dirt here. It looks like Dustin keeping the car alive, dancing on the pedals, getting across the finish line for a second qualifying lap. While we wait for his score, Daniel Morris with a 60 on his second qualifying lap, a 60. And it looks like, unfortunately, with 2 or more tires off, a 0 from Dustin Miles' second qualifying score. So Dustin Miles is going to have to lean on that first qualifying of a 73, that first qualifying of a 73. As I say that, we are parading out our next group of qualifying drivers. I know Alan Boss is out here, that Yeet Fleet.
Yeah, I was just talking to Tom Perner about that. He did not know he was going to be out here. None of us knew Alan was going to be here. He signed up for the season. Unfortunately, was not able to commit. However, he showed up for this round. We're super excited to have him. So,
love to see
Alan,
him out here.
Great to see you, man.
We also followed in by Human, no stranger to the competitive field, as well as Radical Daniel in that Mark IV Supra. Love to see these guys out here throwing it down, trying to take that check away. Said Taylor Hall's playing too much with it. We're going to have to come out here and have a swing at her. You yourselves can get signed up for Klutch Kickers Drift Series for the 2026 series. Our schedule will be released soon. Make sure you guys pay attention to our socials for the updates all off season long and get signed up. Season passes available, and we love to see you out here at Mid-Pond for your chances at the big checks and taking out some of these dudes with their massive machines and driver skill sets. You guys at home on the live stream are seeing the telemetry from Grindles, that #1 qualifying lap. You can see the telemetry there. There's lines behind the tires showing you where that rear axle is. Our Wally system looking for that rear bumper of the vehicle to go through our outside zone. Will Parson taking the long walk, setting up our track map with our friends over in Australia at Race Data Labs. That Wally system's watching every single thing going down. You can see the speed of the vehicle, the angle, the degree, and as well as the angle rate, which I think is a great telemetry data point. I love seeing the rate to angle, all that math. Go check it out, data.racedatalabs.com. Take your time. Go check it out. Go check all the telemetry runs over. We got practice and every qualifying lap. That same telemetry is available to both our drivers and you guys at home, data.racedatalabs.com, as well as our qualifying scores. And as I say that Yeet Fleet 350Z of Alan Boss screaming out of our tents to take his first qualifying lap here. Very short amount of laps here on our track and a little too much sauce getting out into the weeds. Unfortunately, our Wally system, I don't think I need you here, guys. I think that's going to be a 0.
Definitely going to be a 0, unfortunately, for Alan Boss. We say unfortunately, he's got another run.
He's got his second qualifying lap. He'll clean it back up. Always does.
Well, Alan showed up late last night, so he hasn't had a lot of practice time at this track. So.
Yeah, and this track is deceiving. Coming out here with horsepower to spare isn't always an advantage out here at Mid-Pond. Track is technical. The layout is set to allow a whole spectrum of drivers the ability to put down a high qualifying score. As we can see through our qualifying scores as they sit, Jake Clark coming out with a 74, sitting currently in third, right behind our championship winner and sitting first in points, Taylor Hull. But no stranger to some wins and some podium boxes. Andrew Grindle sitting #1 with an 81. We're going to see what Human's capable of in his first qualifying last here. Rahimi out here at round 5. Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series.
Swore I wasn't going to fangirl over Human, but he's such a good human.
No pun intended?
See what I did there?
No pun intended.
No, but he is such a good person. I've always wanted to meet him. Never had the chance. This is my op. I'm super excited.
I saw Klutch was enjoying her.
Oh, he did. He got a little, my dog Klutch, by the way, his name's Klutch, got a nice little photo op with Human's car last night.
All right, let's see what Rahimi's got going down here at round 5 for his first qualifying lap. Unfortunately, Alan Boss taking a goose egg in his first quality. We'll see if he cleans it up. Human's got to clean it himself up as he's getting a little squirrely into the dice as well. These 350Zs are really asking for blood, diving into our first qualifying laps, but Human's going to keep it on the asphalt here as he's going to work his way through that hairpin and get himself resituated into outside zone number 2. Needs to keep the back bumper of that 350Z where it needs to go. Pulls out a little early at the outside 2 across the pond, rotates down to outside 3. Got to keep those tires on the asphalt. The tires smoke white as he rotates all the way through. Stands on the throttle. It gets stretched out to outside 4. And he needs to land it, keeping it on to our raceway here. And it looks like Human's going to survive the lap. He's going to get some points on the board. We'll have to see what our Wally system is going to rank his first qualifying lap here at round 5, $100,000 Drift Series. Thank you guys for joining us on the Klutch Kickers YouTube channel here for the live stream. Big shout out to Ben and his team for getting this stream up and going, as well as Tara, standing right behind him. Or not behind, you're not behind me. I'm facing the wrong way. I'm going over here, right next to me.
Nice. A
And
69 for Human.
Nice. All right, our next qualifying driver on the line, Radical Daniel, Dan Burkett, coming up here from Florida, dragging out the Pro car, the Mark IV Supra. Let's see what he's got in his pocket here for this first qualifying lap at round 5. Rahimi with that 69, putting him into our double elimination bracket here later today. Make sure you guys join us for our second stream, where we'll go into our top 32 all the way until we have a winner. And then hopefully, I say hopefully, I'm putting them in the water. If they don't want to get in the water, I'll get in the water. I'll spear tackle somebody in the water.
You got to commit to it as well, though.
Oh, that's
you going
fine.
in the drink with them?
I'll go in the drink.
Okay.
I mean, there's a hot tub in the Airbnb, so this isn't any worse.
There's also a pool, so you're going to do like the hot tub thing?
Well, if I do pond first, I probably should
Pond,
shower.
hot tub. Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, I think it's in the rules,
Yeah.
you know. All right, here we go. Radical Daniel taking his first qualifying lap here. The sun is out. It is beautiful here. Round 5, Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series as Dan shoves into that first touch and go, knocking out the second, drives that Mark IV Super down to our third touch and go, gets set up into outside zone number 1. That Jay-Z screaming through as he gets into outside zone number 2. Got to keep the tires on the asphalt. Those GT radials smoking off of the backside as he rotates into outside 3. Needs to stand on that skinny pedal and stretch her out to outside 4. And a last rotation into outside 5 for Dan Burkett. That's going to be some points on the board. We'll see how Radical Daniels shows himself for his first qualifying lap here, thanks to our Wally system and Race Data Labs, our friends in Australia. You guys can get that very same information, qualifying scores, as well as telemetry data available at data.racedatalabs.com. Get it while the getting's good. As I say that, Dan Burkett with a 73 for Dan, putting him in 4th place in qualifying, 73 for his first qualifying lap. All right, another new face out here, Tom. Ripping the Corvette all the way outside. A little too much sauce. We're going to have to chalk that off. That's a little too many tires off of the race course. He's going to get a little more shake, maybe get the pebbles back out of the car, but unfortunately, that's going to be a 0 as he screams by us in front of the pond. I think, shook it off. He's back out. That rear bumper on that thing's been taking a licking all practice. Tom looking pretty good through the rest of his lap. Unfortunately, getting a little too saucy going into our first touch and goes. Finding the dirt on the backside of our raceway here at mid-pond. Don't worry, he's got another qualifying lap where he'll clean it up. Hopefully. As I say, cleaning up. Another gentleman that needs to clean it up right now, Alan Boss. That Yeet Fleet 350Z. Another FD driver out here. Let's see if he can get some points on the board, getting to that double elimination bracket here later today, here at round 5. And make it official, Tom, with a 0 in his first run. And Boss getting super saucy, getting it into the dirt as well, keeping it back onto the asphalt as he checks off the rest of those touch and goes, rotates into outside zone number 1. Getting that 350Z rotated into outside 2, screams past the pond. Transition into outside 3. Getting that rear axle at 350Z nice and deep through the box. Our Wally systems watching, paying attention, stretching it out to outside 4. Standing on the pedal, dives into outside 5. And across the finish line, we'll have to go to that Race Data Labs telemetry to see if he's going to get some points on the board. Alan Boss looking to get some qualifying here, and it looks like he's going to get just, unfortunately, not enough. Another 0, too many tires off of our track here today. Alan Boss, unfortunately, not going to see it.
That is unfortunate. Majority of his run looked fantastic, though.
Love to see him out here,
Yeah.
season pass holder. Made it happen this round. Late bloom coming in. Maybe a handful of laps with a monster of a 350Z. Speaking of 350Zs, believe it's 370. Human, Rooney.
There you go.
They're all
I wasn't
the
going to
same.
correct you.
They're
but,
all
you
the
know.
same, different dress, you know what I mean? But here we go. Human shoving in, looking to get some more points himself in his qualifying lap here. Run 2, round 5, $100,000 Drift Series. Gets the tires smoking as he knocks out all those touch and goes and gets himself into outside zone number 1. Rotates at 370 into outside 2. Doing a good job keeping that rear bumper in the box. Transition to outside 3. Keeping it out of the dirt. As I say that, just a little spritz of that one rear tire. Stands back on the throttle. Hits 4. Lands into outside 5. A little weight on throttle there as he gets situated, but survives the lap across the finish line. That should be enough for Rahimi to get into our double elimination bracket here later today here at round 5 Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. Get a refresh on that. RaceDataLabs.com. Telemetry data.
And
if you
he'll
guys,
get it. 74.
Nice. Good for
Cut
Human.
you off there, my bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Take the reins. Human putting some points up. Getting it done. Getting himself into that double elimination bracket. Dan Burkett patiently waiting for his second qualifying lap. Beautiful Mark IV Supra. Maybe a little biased.
I was about to say, are you getting a little FOMO right now?
Yeah, look at all those clean body panels on there.
Did you bring your car? Or did
I didn't know. No, I brought my Lexus this time.
Aw.
You know, I opted for windows. Maybe I learned my lessons. Maybe I didn't. Definitely going to drive back down. Maybe even showing up for a spring break party in March.
There you go. Okay.
These guys are really pushing for me to come down here. You know, me and Zach's got a similar birthday, so you may as well like throw a party. You know, I think you guys already throw a party down here, so like
it kind of is.
we'll just show up and like I can order my special cake at Applebee's or whatever.
You're gonna have to elaborate on that at some point.
Oh, is it a Texas Roadhouse? They still bring out the saddle?
Yeah.
Nice. We'll get the saddle out.
I don't know. I've been to Texas Roadhouse in like 10+ years, but I assume they.
Our resident expert is not here this round. We do have Will Parsons, Zach Loloff, and the man, the myth, the legend, Ben Hobson as our judges panel here. But in qualifying, the Wally system is watching. Hooman win a 74 in his second qualifying lap. That'll put him up into the runnings, tied for third with Jake Clark. This is our fourth qualifying run group. We got one more group of drivers to get our qualifying taken care of here at round 5. But first, Dan Burkett and Tom have their second qualifying laps to shake off. Thank you guys for joining us here on the Klutch Kickers live stream. Big shout out from Ben and Drift Sessions for helping putting this production on, as well as Ken and his team here at Mid-Pond for the hospitality. And a big shout out to the Ducks, you know? They're just out here vibing.
I mean, the Ducks are the vibe.
They were taking the snacks. I almost got to cuddle a duck.
You were pretty close. I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were at least gonna get to hand feed.
I mean, to be honest, if some stranger's handing you food, I'd be a little timid too.
You giving off like stranger danger vibes or something?
I don't know those ducks. They're not my ducks. My ducks aren't even in a row. All right, it looks like we got our systems back up and running for Dan Burkett's qualifying lap, her second of round 5 here at Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series at Mid-Pond Raceway and Events Complex. Dan Burkett with that Rad Industries Mark IV Supra getting himself through that first and second touch and go. That Jay-Z screams into that third touch and go, gets himself positioned into outside zone number 1. Car looking fantastic. Renee always throwing down with the liveries and the sauce and design as Dan wheels and tries to peel it all off. He gets through outside zone number 2. Lands in the outside 3. Standing on that Jay-Z through outside 4. Getting the rear bumper. Wally system watching as he rotates into our final outside 5 and across the finish line. Dan Burkett already sitting with a 73 in his first qualifying run, looking for some more points. We'll see if he can grab it.
And he just barely does, 75.
Nice. Good job from Dan Burkett, a 75 with that Rad Industries Mark IV Supra. Getting himself into our double elimination bracket here later today. Make sure you guys join us for our second stream. The link will be on the Klutch Kickers social. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Say hello to our sponsors, friends, and our drivers. Speaking of drivers, Tom taking that Corvette out, looking to get the points down. Taking a little oopsie going into his first qualifying lap. Looks like he's doing a little better job here as he starts going through our touch and go power alley, if you will. Shoves himself into outside zone number 1. Getting in that Chevrolet position for outside zone number 2. Staring at the pod. Pulls off a little early out of that box as he gets himself repoised into outside 3. Tom and his Corvette standing on that throttle, getting stretched out to outside 4. The tire smoke really coming off the backside of that thing as he gets landed into outside 5. There's Astros spinning away across the finish line. That's going to be the conclusion of that run group of qualifying. Tom getting it done, getting some points on the board. We'll have to see, thanks to our race data lab, our friends in Australia, to see what his final qualifying score is.
Now, while Alan Boss is not going to have a qualifying score, he is a season pass holder, so he qualifies.
That is the perks of the season passes here at Klutch Kickers. You can see Taylor Hull's run, that telemetry data. You can see that Corvette underneath the skin of that Monte Carlo. See him cranking it all the way through outside zone number 1. Vehicle speed sitting in the high 20s. You can see he really ramps it up going into outside zone number 2, almost hitting 40 miles an hour. Obviously, track layout dictates that he's going to have to slow that car back down, still holding it into the mid-20s. You can see those lines right behind those rear tires. That is the trajectory of that rear axle, but the bumper in our zones is what counts. We'd love to see our drivers rear axle deep into our outside zones, but our Wally system and our judges are looking for the rear bumper of the vehicle to be placed in our layout here at round 5. As I say that, it looks like Tom's score has come through with a 67.67 for Tom. Tom's going to get himself into our double elimination bracket. Make sure you guys join us for our second stream where our top 32 is going to go down. We're going to win. Or I'm not winning anything. They're going to win. Somebody's going to take home. I could win. You
could.
I could. You could, too.
I believe in you.
You could, too. Get signed up at Klutch. No, we get signed up at Klutch Kickers Drift Series. Get yourself registered. Get a season pass holder. Look at the perks already being – oh, Josh, take it easy, brother. The perks of a season pass already being showcased. Alan Boss utilizing, getting his money's worth, if you will, out of that season pass. He's going to get locked himself in, be low in the qualifying order, but nonetheless, he'll be in the show. Always a nice perk, especially since it is quite the drive for Alan.
Yeah, all the way from Ohio. All right, so for our final run group here, run group 5, we did have a couple changes. So unfortunately, Jake Elliott in his S13 had a little bit of a steering rack issue, so he is not going to be able to qualify. So he is out. And then Frank DeLeon. Frank also had a little bit of an issue, as we saw when Brandon Bass was driving his car. But Frank is also a season pass holder, so Frank doesn't need to qualify. He's already in. Again, those perks of being a season pass holder here at Klutch Kickers at Mid-Pond.
Hopefully Frank can get that thing cleaned up and ready for battles later today. He's going to sit down at the bottom of the list with Alan Boss. But the rest of our drivers, looks like Mark sitting on the line waiting patiently to take his first qualifying lap here with that 350Z. Shedding body panels off during practice. Getting the weight down.
A little weight loss there.
He was looking good and solid through practice. Always holding it down in the pits. Waiting for Mark to take his first qualifying lap here at round 5. $100,000 Drift Series. Looks like our light's going to illuminate. Let's see what he can throw into our judges' checklist as he's got those 3 touch and goes to take care of first. Got to get the backside of that 350Z out to the edges of our track where our judges have designated in our round 5 layout. And it looks like he gets to touch and go 1 and 2 off the list. Lands into that touch and go 3. Down the outside 1, keeping that 350Z where it needs to go. Mark doing a good job getting the completion of that. You can see that Wally unit right on the roof of his car going through outside 2 as he screams past the pond here at Mid-Pond. Lands into outside 3. Mark doing a fantastic job getting that Z stretched out. Little left foot brake to get the car settled out for outside 4. A good drive through outside 4 as our drone making it personal as he jumps into there in our last outside 5. Mark, a solid qualifying lap here at round 5, $100,000 Drift Series.
Mark, all the way from Minnesota.
Oh, don't you know that? All right, Mark, first qualifying lap. Throwing it down.
Well done. Very well done.
And it looks like we got our data in with a 76. Mark with a 76, putting him into that number 2 position. Dan Burkett right behind him, as well as Taylor Hull and Human Rahimi. Quite the laundry list in our top 5 qualifying drivers. All our drivers doing a fantastic job, even our season pass holders making it happen. 17 drivers already qualified. Mark just putting some points on the board with that 76. Patiently waiting to take his first qualifying lap here. First time down at Mid-Pond. Adam Heisman in that SN95 Mustang. But don't worry, he's got a small walk Chevy.
Oh, hell.
LS powered. He looked comfy. Doing Mustang things a little bit, resetting the car, learning the ins and outs of what Mid-Pond and their track layout has to offer. Let's see if all that calculation practice
even the Airbnb chill. Let's see if it all stacks up for him. This is where all the math comes together. He's got to put the points on the board while he's paying attention. The Race Data Labs receipts are ready for him. Posting it on the internet regardless, good or bad. Thank you guys for joining us here on the live stream. Thanks, big shout to Ben and the Drift Sessions team for helping put on this publication, as well as Mid-Pond with their massive track expansion going down. If you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you look into it. It is a massive project. We'll give you an insight into it later here today. Mid-Pond always pushing forward.
Always.
Adam Heisman waiting patiently for that first qualifying lap here, round 5. Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. Thank you guys for joining us here on the internet. Listen to me yap. I just shut up, man. Put the lights on. And as I say that, here we go. Adam Heisman's first qualifying lap. SM95 Mustang, LS powered. Shells well before the last initiation point, getting out to that first touch and go. Keeps it on the asphalt. Getting out to that second touch and go and drives down to that third. Gets himself positioned into outside zone number 1. Keeping the Mustang on the asphalt. Pouring it away from the crowd here. Going to outside 2. Heisman stands back on the throttle. A good drive in the outside 3. Got to keep it out of the dirt. It looks like the tire spoke tells no lies, as he does. Standing back on the throttle, getting that LS to scream. Getting that Mustang's rear bumper into the box, as our Wally system wants to see. And into outside 5 and across the finish line. A good, solid qualifying lap out of Adam Heisman. Adam doing a good job. His qualifying run group partner, Mark, already sitting with a 76.
And I think, so our current top 5, Andrew Grindle, Dan Burkett, Taylor Hull, Jake Clark, JP Wyndham. But that 76 from Mark, I think, is going to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, Mark sitting into number 2. And Heisman right behind him with a 75, followed up by Dan Burkett, Taylor Hull, and Human Rahimi, Jake Clark, Dustin Miles, JP Wyndham, and Cardosa are your top 10 qualifying drivers. Mark's going to get one more shake at it, but Mark's already sitting pretty with a 76. If you guys are curious where I'm pulling these numbers out of, it's not in my pocket. Data.racedatalabs.com. You guys can see the very same qualifying, all the telemetry data, all the data points, as well as the run playbacks from every lap here in qualifying, as well as some in practice. You'll be able to check in on our battle telemetry and see what our judges and myself and Tara are looking at on the screens. Make sure you guys check out data.racedatalabs.com. Get the getting while the getting's good. And Mark already sitting good with a 76, looking for his second qualifying lap here to go even better as he goes through our 3 touch and goes, getting the rear bumper, that 350Z out, and landing into outside zone number 1. Angle, crank through, throttles confident as he exits outside 1, going into outside 2. Putting the headlights toward the pond. Tire smoke staying white out of the dirt. Rotates into outside 3. Keeping the throttle matted down. Stretch all the way out to outside 4. Now he's got to land in outside 5, keep it out of the dirt on the backside. And it looks like, as I say that, a little announcer's curse as he puts all 4 off, but it's all right. Mark's already sitting with a 76 second qualifier. He can get a little weird, Everybody deserves that. Everybody deserves a little weird. Mark, unfortunately, seeing the dirt, finding the outside of our outside 5, but already sitting with a comfy score in his first qualifying lap. He'll take it. Clark survives the lap. We'll see Mark in our double elimination bracket later today. Make sure you guys join us for our second stream of our top 32 and on. Hopefully see our podium in the pond. If not, I'll spear tackle somebody, I promise y'all. All right, Adam Heisman waiting for his second qualifying lap here. Round 5, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. That LS-powered SN95 Mustang. Waiting to get himself locked in. And it looks like our light's going to be illuminated, getting the okay from Josh, our grid worker. Here at round 5, Klutch Kicker, $100,000 Drift Series. This is going to be our last qualifying run of the day. Thanks to our Wally and Race Data Lab system for making this smooth, easy, and quick as Adam Heisman gets through our touch and goes. Dumps himself into outside zone number 1, getting the backside of the Mustang, bouncing through our box. Gets in the outside 2, standing back on the throttle now. That LS screaming, a little flutter of the pedal as he gets himself landed into outside 3. Stands back on it. getting mean on her now as he stretches all the way out to outside 4. And sits into outside 5. Looks like he's going to keep it on the asphalt. That SN95 is going to make it over the finish line for a second qualifying score. If you guys following at home, racedatalabs.com, data.racedatalabs.com. You can see all the telemetry data as well as our qualifying order. Andrew Grindle sitting number 1 with an 81. Grindle locking himself with that P1 position here in qualifying, followed shortly up by the late bloomer Mark, throwing it down late in our qualifying run groups with a 76. Adam Heisman sitting already behind him with a 75. We'll see if he can get a few more points on the board. It looks like he does not with a 71. He's going to hang on to that 75, already locked into that third qualifying spot, followed up by Dan Burkett in that Rad Industries, Mark IV Supra, and then qualifying 5th right behind him, Taylor Hull in that rebodied Corvette. You guys can see Mark's lap, that telemetry data, thanks to the Wally system. You guys can get these exact same information and see these exact same graphics for everybody's qualifying laps, not just Mark's, everybody's qualifying laps at data.racedatalabs.com. Make sure you check it out. We're going to use the same technology to help assist our judges later today in our top 32 double elimination bracket here at round 5. We still got a couple more big checks to hand out, and we're going swimming with the ducks. Winners in the pond. We go swimming, all right? Winners in the pond. All right, so we got our qualifying all situated. Thank you once again for joining us here on the live stream. Thanks to Klutch Kickers, Mid-Pond, Raceway Park, and Events Complex. Thank you to Tara.
Likewise.
Helping me hold it down up here. Big shout to Grip Royal and Scott as well. And a big shout to all of our drivers, season pass holders, and our late entrants. You too can get signed up. Klutch Kickers. We got a whole new season, 2026, coming at you. Get onto social media. Follow us on the Instagram. You'll see all the updates, I promise you.
Schedule is coming soon.
It is coming soon with a bunch of new updates. We have some fun stuff for you in through our top 32. We already had a blast here through Friday. Our drivers look solid. And a big shout to Grindle taking home that number 1 qualifying spot here at round 5, $100,000 Drift Series. A big shout to the Grindle team. We'll see them go into our double elimination bracket. Stay tuned for our second stream in our top 32. Thank you guys for joining us here at Klutch here at Mid-Pond. Thank you. Why are you apologizing? We can stay to the air.